What could the USA have spent $1 trillion on instead of a 17-year-long war in Afghanistan? Fruit by the foot is apparently 3 feet of fun. On Amazon, you can get 72 of them for $28.66. That means that, by the meter, fruit costs about 41 cents. For $1 trillion, you could get about 2.5 trillion meters, or 2.5 billion kilometers. For that money you could, if you were so inclined, produce a string of fruit by the foot long enough to get you to Mars and back. 22 times. 17 one-year wars in various parts of the world. $1 trillion represents about 50 years' worth of Afghanistan GDP. They could have literally bought the entire country with that amount. 5 college textbooks. Fix the bridges. A 14-year-long war in Liechtenstein. Those fuckers have had it too easy for too long. Bionicles. Half the mods for Train Simulator. I'm no expert, but if it were a game, I'd invest it 60-20-20 among infrastructure, education and healthcare. Infrastructure up front so that those who are already ailing or stupid can help build a nation that the gradually more intelligent and healthy populace could benefit from. President Eisenhower, a 5-star general, answered this: every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. This world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. The cost of one modern heavy bomber is this: a modern brick school in more than 30 cities. It is 2 electric power plants, each serving a town of 60,000 population. It is 2 fine, fully equipped hospitals. It is some 50 miles of concrete pavement. We pay for a single fighter with 500,000 bushels of wheat. We pay for a single destroyer with new homes that could have housed more than 8,000 people. This is not a way of life at all, in any true sense. Under the cloud of threatening war, it is humanity hanging from a cross of iron. My emphasis on parts that answer OP's question: a moon base would have been nice. Our dams and bridges are falling apart. Many communities have poor internet access. Our power grid is aging faster than we're maintaining it. A huge number of our citizens don't have decent healthcare. We don't pay our schoolteachers enough to make a living. Homelessness is rampant in some of our most progressive cities. The price of epinephrine has gone up 400%. Road traffic needs serious innovative relief in many major population centers. Our railroad system is woefully inadequate. Our ATC network is outdated and growing unsafe. We need long-term infrastructure for oil alternatives ASAP. Our prison system needs a complete logistical and philosophical overhaul. The EPA has insufficient funding. The NPS has insufficient funding. The FDA has insufficient funding. The DOE has insufficient funding. Edit: apparently I was woefully incorrect in my assertion about ATC. Please see below. Many industry members have spoken up. Thank you to those who have. A Death Star edit, a small one. Improving our educational system. Afghan vet here: I'd have liked to see that money go towards the EPA, education, space exploration, healthcare, actually helping vets, homelessness, bridge repair, virtually anything. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have been so wasteful and costly in terms of lives and money spent. Afghanistan at least started with good intentions, but quickly devolved into whatever the fuck it became. I think clusterfuck with no real objective is what I'm looking for. 10 out of 10 love this thread. Edit: I was Army, MOS was 11B for those who asked. Boots on the ground, Mars ground. 560 trillion ladybugs. On a PC that can run Crisis on medium settings. Paid off the 2017 deficit and some of the 2016 one. Wouldn't have mattered though, because this year's one is $895 billion so far. Oh, you could have set up 5,000 fully staffed schools for 20 years, you could have got yourself off coal and oil completely as a power source. You could have created a transport system across the U.S.A. that is second to none. You could have sent a man to Mars, twice. That money could have been used to pay off almost 5% of the national debt. What a waste. A box of avocados in Australia. Doing 2 chicks at the same time. 50 nuclear power plants. Dual arena. Anything. Solar panels. At roughly $3.14 per watt, each $1 trillions worth of solar would generate 318,471,337,580 watt, H or 318 gigawatt, H. The U.S. uses about 966 gigawatts. So a third of all power could be almost free. Or you could remove all coal and petroleum generation from the grid. Or you could give everyone free car charging, which would spur on the auto market, and reduce dependence on the Middle East for fuel, improve air quality and lower the medical issues it causes. Or blow people up in an endless cycle of pain, suffering and misery. Free healthcare, or free education. Both would probably feed back into the quality of life and prosperity of the country. Better healthcare. Fucking lamps. A more efficient 25-year-long war in Afghanistan. A literal interstellar spaceship, sublight but still. An orbiter and a lander on every solid solar system body with a 200 kilometers and larger diameter and balloon probes for the gas ones. A space telescope powerful enough to directly image terrestrial planets and analyze their atmospheres. Enough food for every malnourished human being on Earth. Fusion power. Not either one of these. Probably all of them. Seriously. Consider that New Horizons cost $700 million over 15 years. That means you could make 1429 New Horizons with that money. There'd be no "why it isn't HD" complaints anymore. The ancient Romans once poured molten silver into the throat of a particularly greedy and corrupt official who founded fires only to extinguish them and make people pay for his firefighting service, and took humongous bribes, among other things. He was sentenced to it as the idea was, if he likes silver so much, then he should get satiated by it. When I think about how much the military-industrial complex takes, I appreciate this Roman tradition. Just not spending it would have been a good option. Of course, our national debt is like 20+ trillion, so that's only 5% of the total. They could have written off like 5 people's student loans. Make it a lottery system to see who wins. Environmental protection. Improving the education system. As a teacher-to-be, I feel this country's education is shit, teachers pay as shit, and we're expected to teach the next generation when we sometimes don't even have the supplies to do so teachers have to buy them. How much supplies, improvements, and adjustments could have been made to schools in that time and with that money? The idea, to me, is unfathomable. So many advancements in science and space. We have been in the same position for decades just because there hasn't been a focus on science. Imagine how many discoveries and boundaries could have been broken if that money was donated to research. Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water.